to Flex Your Feelings, the mental health and wellness podcast with myself, Sam Bell, and my ever enthusiastic, fantastic, something else is stick.
Oh, I mean, you could go on, right?
Co-host James Penny.
Hello. How are you?
It's been a grand total of 4 minutes since I've seen you.
Oh. Well, we'll come out and say it, right? Because we alluded to it in the last episode, but we do record a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I put it out on my socials all the time that we record.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You didn't run that past me, did you?
Sorry. I didn't run it past HR.
I'm giving people the impression we're, meeting up every week.
Well, at the minute, it's every 2 weeks.
It is.
So we do 2 episodes, so then we can release one every couple of weeks at the minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Last episode was about heartbreak and all that sort of thing.
Emotional topic.
Exactly, a very emotional topic. But, I think we made it a really interesting and exciting and energetic episode.
Well, there's a lot to pack in, and I think it was a very, very broad subject.
He literally teased these up for me.
It says more about the way your mind works.
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
mean,
I'm innocently chatting away, and then you're like, you just eyeball me, and I'm like, here we go. Brace yourself for an innuendo.
Yeah, but
innuendo.
Yeah. But we obviously, like previous episodes, we've come up with the topics that we feel like we want to talk about and stuff like that. In the last week or so, we kind of put it out to our on our personal Instagrams, like our following.
Yeah.
However small that may feel.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. See, that's not even me.
No, I was anyway.
Yeah. So we put it out there. We both put them out there, and like we had quite a few people that replied with certain topics and stuff like that. And I especially said on mine that the more that they give us, this is coming towards the end of season 1 now, and we can use it into season 2 in terms of content and stuff. But I think we agreed that one of the ones that we wanted to use was comparing yourself to others, but also what's doing right for you.
Yeah, do what is, if I can get the words out, do what is right for you, versus basically doing what other people think you should do.
Yeah, that social expectation, right?
Yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily mean society as a whole, as great as that pressure might be, but maybe looking a little bit closer to home in terms of friends, family. And then obviously we'll talk about a big one, which is social media, right?
I mean, we can't avoid talking about that, can
we?
No,
really? I mean,
this is going out.
This is going out on socials. Okay, mate. So kick it off.
Well, thank you. Okay, well,
I don't know what to say.
No, it's all right. I think for me, when I saw the response about, this was a suggestion, what's right for you versus social expectations, my immediate thought was, where does that start? So if we think about when we start learning or noticing that people have got an idea about what we should, air quotes, be doing, where does that come from? And my mind went straight to parents first and foremost. So what I want to sort of kick us off with is thinking about how we're influenced by our parents and shaped and moulded into going down a certain road in life, taking a certain career path, or what we study for our GCSEs, whatever it may be. Right from the word go, though, we are pressured, for want of a better word, into doing things for other reasons other than what we know is right for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. I mean, obviously, you're a therapist, right, by trade. Do you think that you've gone straight there because, and it's a bit of a, but it is a bit of a joke, isn't it? It's a joke, isn't it?
Don't blame the parents.
And I'm sure, like, you get it a lot. But I've been in therapy, and a lot of people that I know that have been in therapy, we talk about it, and it's like it always stems to your childhood, and that's not necessarily you blaming your parents.
No, it's not. It's just recognizing that by the very nature of our parents being human, they will have got their own life experience and learned behaviour from their parents, and that unconsciously I think it's a natural passing down. So I don't think often parents do it on purpose, so it's not about blame, like you say, but recognising that there is a significant part of your life experience that's moulded by your parents. So if we think about doing what's right for you versus social expectation, Your parents are part of that picture for me.
Yeah, and I think, in my opinion, if your parents hadn't have had an influence on you in some way, shape or form, then you wouldn't know what's right for you. Because knowing what's right for you is looking at it and being like, well, my parents expect this of me, but I don't want that. So if they didn't set that certain expectation, potentially, or friends didn't set that expectation, and then you wouldn't have anything to almost disagree with. And like, okay, well, it's great that you want that for me, but I don't actually want that. And that's all right. So it can be, I think the first like kind of thought is that it's really negative.
True.
But it's not. It's just them parents trying to influence you.
It's very natural.
Yeah.
And most of the time comes from a very loving, well-intentioned place of, oh, maybe you should do this. Maybe you could explore that. This might be good for you. And they want to protect you and they want you to do well.
Yeah.
And they want the best for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience. Like, the first thing that comes to my head when you think of like that pressure from parents, and it goes straight back to sport. And my old man was always so encouraging in terms of like my football, and you know, he'd give me a bit of shit, being like, oh, you know, you're not pushing yourself, like you're better than that, you're better than them, like let's try and progress you a little bit. But he never forced it to an extent where you see those parents on the sideline when I was growing up, and they were hammering their kids, and it's like, now you look at it, it's like, you're trying to live vicariously through your child because you didn't make it as a footballer or whatever sport it was.
A harmful version of it.
Exactly. But that's where, if you turn around and say, oh, like your parents' expectations, that's kind of a thing that I go to. I'm like, and it is a negative thing straight away. But ultimately, I mean, I'm pretty confident in saying this, that most parents only want the best for their children, right?
Absolutely.
And they will do everything they can to try and help that child in whatever way they can.
I couldn't agree more. But I think a key thread throughout this conversation we're going to have today is that it's all feedback. It's not fact. It's all based on life experience and mistakes that they've made and faulty learning or positive learning that they've received. But ultimately, we have autonomy, and the final decision about what's best for us or what's right for us is our own choice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unhealthy to get feedback from others about what they think might be good, but as long as it just remains as feedback rather than you take that on as fact.
Yep.
Oh, that my mum had said I've got to do this, so therefore I must do that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, social media, someone says on social media that I should be like this. Okay, so that's the right way to be then.
Yeah.
We've got to be so careful that we're not taking that feedback as a given, where we are actually allowed to challenge it and say, well, I don't know, actually, I think this is probably more right for me.
Yeah.
Like you just said about, it's like, thank you for that, but actually I think I'm going to go that way.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, you know, most parents / friends / anyone that actually cares truly about you, they might, depending on what kind of character they are, they might take a little bit of offence by it, like, oh, what, you don't value my opinion? And it's like, no, I'm not saying that. It's just that I appreciate you saying what you say, or you feel what you feel, but you need to respect my decision, my choice, my thought process of why I don't really, it's not like I don't want to listen to you, I just don't want to implement that into my life.
Yeah.
So, and then that comes into the whole comparison thing as well, like especially with social media. Like we'll touch on it in a little bit, but like the phrase "comparison is the thief of joy."
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it's true, isn't it?
It is true.
And you know, the only person that you should ever compare yourself to is yourself. And they say yesterday, but from my point of view, I compare myself to what I am now, sitting in front of you now, as to what I was 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 18 months ago. And yeah, I am so happy with the version that I am now, but I had to put a lot of work in to get there. Yeah. And the initial thing was, I was comparing myself to others in relationships, and we're not going to go into it too much in terms of, because we've hammered heartbreak and all that sort of stuff in the past. But I was constantly comparing myself to like my ex's exes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, like, and that's it. And I was like, and ultimately that fucking ruined a relationship because I was so insecure in myself.
Yeah, what, trying to be them, or
not even that, but I was always just like, oh, why? Oh, I don't know, like money and all that sort of stuff, like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you are you. Compare yourself to, like, that 1% better every day. You know, it is what it is. Like, just focus on you. Become the best version of yourself. And the only person you need to compare yourself is to the person that you were previously. And you can't lose. So
it's a powerful force, though, isn't it? I don't think we're often told, or I certainly wasn't when we're growing up, that even though it's well-intentioned, it can still be really quite distracting / damaging to take on someone else's version of what they think is right for you over your own. Yeah. Because you might not know your own version yet.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, you might not know who you are yet.
But you haven't got the space to explore it. Some people will experience a very, very intense and rather rigid view of what's right for them, like received from maybe parents or siblings or whoever. And it's really quite impactful, because you could basically get stuck in such a limited view of what you think you should be or who you think you should be. And there's no room to create, there's no room to make mistakes, there's no room to explore. It's you will do this, and that's what your father did, for example, and so you will do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remember that you can, or I think people should try and to remember that they've always got the final say. But of course, I know it's much more complicated than that.
Of course,
it tap into a lot of fear of maybe rejection, fear of abandonment, worrying that you're not good enough. If you follow you march to the beat of your own drum over all else, it might risk that you end up temporarily alone.
Yeah.
Or isolated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course it does. And
it's that there's a risk attached to going out and being yourself if you've had a very rigid sort of example of what it is to be able to live.
Yeah, and I said it on a previous episode, I think, and I've hammered it home on my own socials, that a quote that I heard was, anyone wanting to change and find who they actually are will always go through a period of loneliness.
Yes.
Because they don't quite fit in with the social norms of what they used to be like.
Yeah.
And they haven't quite found where they fit in yet. And that can relate to like social groups, peer groups, all that sort of stuff. But, accept that if you want to be the best version of yourself, there might be that period in there. And I think it's so easy to get, and this is from my own experience, get caught up into who I thought I was, because I was constantly, subconsciously being the version that I thought everybody liked to be around. Like the expectation was, Sam's like a go-getter, he's funny, he's the class clown, he's this. And don't get me wrong, I'm fucking hilarious.
Oh, it's the first thing I think of when I think of you.
No, it's not, let's face it.
What do you mean? I think firstly how intelligent you are, how witty.
But I spent so long being a version of myself that I thought I was, and then when I actually looked into myself in such great detail, I think the other thing to remember is that when you feel like, okay, no, like that version isn't me, it doesn't mean it's not all of you.
Yeah.
Like, I changed my life, my perspective, my behaviours, my attitudes, and I was like, I never want to be that version again. I'm never going to be that person ever again. And then as you go on, it's like, well, actually, that like the confidence from that guy was false due to like drink and all that sort of stuff, but it's in there. So let's try and find it internally and let's bring it into my personality now. And I'll go as far, and I'm pretty confident in saying that most people that would either meet me or now know me would say I'm quite a confident individual. You know me, do you know what I mean? But
well, you're not a wallflower, are you?
I'm far from fucking shy. But take pride in that sometimes the social expectations that have been put upon you have created a personality that you might not be 100% comfortable with, but there probably is traits in there that you actually do like about yourself. You don't have to go, I don't want to be that person anymore. Yeah. Like, and it can go down to every little, like, sex was a big thing for me. I'm not like going to get into it, but I thought I was a certain type of sexual being because due to that person. And I actually realized throughout the learning process of myself, I was like, I actually like that part of myself. So now it's part of my life now.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking filth bag. But yeah, it's like, just like, it's not black and white.
No, it is.
There's that.
It never is.
The grey area is so vast, so big, and that's where you learn the most about yourself. That's where you get to choose who the hell you want to be
Every day.
every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm thinking about sort of my journey and how I maybe thought I was doing what was right for me. And it mostly came out for me in terms, no pun intended, it mostly emerged.
I didn't even clock that one.
See, keep up. When my parents
I've clocked that one.
If you're out there, can you help me? What I'm trying to get to is that I think my parents pushed me to, for example, in my education, go to college. I didn't want to go to college. My parents were like, you've got to go to college and get a good job. But they kept saying, good job. I was like, what?
What is that?
They were like, a good, reliable job, like I don't know, like in business, you know?
Yeah.
And they were well-intentioned and well-meaning. But they were like, you've just got to go out and get a good job. That was their way of showing that they loved me. But then I went to college, did business studies. Not for me. No offense to anyone who does that, because that's, you know, you do you. But I basically left college on the day of my A-levels and didn't sit any exams because I didn't do any work. I love the social aspect of college, but I didn't want to be there.
But a lot of people go to uni for that as well, don't they?
Well, but then I went to work and I was, here you go. This is the start of it. When I left college, I told my parents they weren't that happy about it, but they got over it. And I started working in retail. That's when I was like, here's where I'm starting to find my own footing. And I did what was right for me. It wasn't easy because I knew that there would be repercussions from my parents. But the moment I started in work and started earning money, I was like, oh, here we go. This, and I didn't know ultimately, how can you, what you want to do. And I don't think it's a permanent state that you arrive at. But I thought this is more in line with who I am.
Yeah.
Out there, making a living, working and going out and having fun. Yeah. I didn't want to be in college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm not going to say it was a waste, but my parents did influence me in doing that.
Yeah.
And then after that sort of first pushback, or the, not rebellion necessarily, but that first realization that I could say to my parents that I don't want to do that.
It's powerful, right?
It's powerful. Hugely powerful. And since then, haven't really ever asked them. I love them. I mean, my dad's not here anymore, but I don't tend to ask my mum for her opinion anymore. I tend to just tell her what I've done.
Okay.
And then she'll give her opinion.
Yeah.
God love her. But I don't.
That's mum's for you, right?
Quite. And it comes from a place of love. But I don't go to her and ask because I'm going to do what I want to do. And it's the same with friends. I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I don't tend to ask people anymore, do you think I should? What do you think I should do? Is this a good idea or not? I tend to just do it. Okay. And then tell people afterwards, oh, I've done this. And then people are like, really? Why didn't you say anything? Well, because I just thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do what's right for me and not ask too much around people's opinions, because it's feedback. And it's not wrong to ask people's opinions, but I've just found that it's much more fun just to tell people what I'm doing rather than ask for their opinion in the first place. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. And
I'm not totally, banning people from asking for the opinion of loved ones.
And that's what I was going to follow up with. Like, there is going to be situations where you do want a second opinion, but ultimately, like, the reality is you've probably made far more of a decision in your head, and some of it will be you want a bit of validation. So you want to go to that person and go, hi, James, right, so I'm thinking of doing this. In your head, you've already if it's a business or whatever, like, you've already made the business plan, you've already made the logo. And then you turn around and go, oh, I think that's a terrible idea, Sam. And that's not the response you wanted. And you're like, oh, well, okay, maybe James is right. Yeah. And then you put all that self-doubt on yourself, and then you don't start the business or the hobby or whatever it might be. And they've completely changed your mind on a decision that you probably had already nearly made.
That's the power of it right there. If you then let that opinion infiltrate your own sense of what you want to do, then it becomes so much harder to separate that out again and go, actually, no, I'm just going to trust myself here and do what I thought I wanted to do anyway. Yeah. But thank you for that feedback.
Yeah. But then on the other side, that's not saying that those certain people in your life that you really wholeheartedly trust their opinion like I've got one, my friend Emily, and went to her with a decision, not a decision because I hadn't actually made it. And this is one of the rare decisions that I was like, I actually want her opinion on this, not in terms of help me make it, and I don't normally care about decisions, but I was like, I don't actually know what I want to do here.
Yeah.
And I went to her, and she is one of those friends that will be like, this is my opinion because you've asked for it, but whatever you do, I'm behind you 100%.
Yeah.
And
well, that's a beautiful way of...
And that's it. But there is certain people that I probably wouldn't go to and say certain things because this is no fault, like no disrespect to them, but I'm like, I already know what your answer is going to be, and I don't want that cutthroat, like black and white, nope, terrible idea. Like, I don't want that. I want someone to be open and be like, okay, yeah, Sam, I see where you're coming from here. Like, why? And actually have a physical, like, proper discussion about it. And then you can make you can then use that information, feedback, like you say, to help you make that decision. But ultimately, you're going to make it yourself. I think that's the important thing.
And I think, off the back of what you're saying, there's something really important about maybe limiting the amount of people that you ask.
100%.
So if you're, and I used to do this, have a tendency to go and ask everyone in your life that you know what they think.
Do your survey. It is a survey, isn't it?
It is. Oh my God, you feel overwhelmed afterwards.
Of course you do.
And even more indecisive.
Yep.
And even more unsure about what's right for me. So I may have taken it to the other end of the extreme, but I'm not saying I don't ever ask people's opinions. Of course I do. But if you want to ask someone that you know is going to give you that very wise, balanced, grounded feedback and ultimately is going to support you no matter what.
Yeah.
And if we've got someone like that in our lives, which I hope that we do, then maybe that means we don't have to go asking everyone. Like every time we meet up with a new friend or we meet up with someone in a social environment or someone saying, oh, tell me what you've been up to. Oh, I'm doing this. What do you think? You're going to get so many different views.
Yeah.
And that's
if you're opening that up, though, if you say, oh, James, what do you think about this? If you're opening that conversation up, you need to be prepared that it's not going to be necessarily what you want to hear, but be strong enough in yourself to go, okay, cheers, James, appreciate your opinion. If I'm really honest with myself,
the most of the time that I have asked people, what do you think? If I really thought about it, I don't think I actually wanted to know.
Yeah.
I already had
done it because it's just a conversation.
Yeah, it's just, what do you think?
Yeah.
Which is, it's nice to ask someone's opinion, but ultimately I'd already made a decision.
Yeah. Well, I had it massively with the coaching. I was the social pressure of I was like so unsure of putting myself out there and putting these first kind of videos up, and you hear a lot about with like influencers and stuff like that, and I'm not an influencer, but
we wouldn't have met if you hadn't.
Exactly. But like I was like, oh, shall I do this, shall I do that? And I spoke to one of my mates, Nick, and he was like, yeah, but you need to be careful with this, and in the end I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made, because I was like, I want to do it, I want to do this, and like I say, I wouldn't be here without it. But if I'd have listened to certain people, not necessarily Nick, who was like, he didn't negatively say no.
It wasn't on purpose trying to sabotage it.
No, but he was like, oh, maybe you think about this, stuff like that. And similarly to you, I get an idea in my head and I'm like, right, I'm just going to fucking do it. What's the worst going to happen? It doesn't pay off. All right, cool. Whereas certain people in your life are a little bit more methodical and a little bit more rational thinking.
I get it.
Like, I am not really a rational thinker. Like, I'll just be like, right, cool, yeah, let's do it. And then 6 weeks later, well, that didn't really work, did it? Let's go again.
Well,
and I'm okay with that.
And you're still here.
Yeah.
Nothing
I'm
bad
still standing better than I ever did. But
That's
yeah.
lovely.
I know. I've been practicing.
Maybe you shouldn't take up...
Finish that sentence right now.
No, I shan't. I'm going to stop. You have a lovely voice.
But thanks.
But yeah, it's a powerful point. And how, as you were talking, I was thinking, how on earth do you then develop a sense of self if all you've done is say yes to what other people think you should do?
Yeah.
How do you? I wouldn't know who I am. Like, down to what music you'd like to listen to, what films you like to watch, what hobbies you like to do, what food you like to eat. How do you know who you are if you've always listened to other people going like, oh, you should eat that. That's better for you. Oh, okay, well, I won't have the crisps then. Well, some might say, well, no, don't have the crisps. It's bad. But how would you know what you like if you've never followed your own sense of it? So I think it's really important on many levels to make sure that you continue to strive to do what's right for you about any decision.
Yeah, what you just said there was, it is literally so many aspects of your life. And you just said about like what music you listen to. I'm a huge country music fan, right?
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that about you.
But, well, fucking, I've listened to it for like 10 years, but now it's really...
Modern country.
Now it's cool, isn't it? But TikTok and all that, like country music is huge now.
Are you a fan of like...
Everyone loves it.
Like modern country?
I love all of it.
Yeah, me too.
But back then, I wouldn't tell people that I liked it because I was so worried. Like, we used to put on like the Spotify playlist on a building site, and I'd be like, oh, fucking hell, I hope there's
Dolly Parton.
Yeah. But I'd be like, I hope there's no country music on here because I know I'm going to get hammered by the lads. Fuck them. In the nicest way possible.
Saying, hey, everyone, I like country music,
Yeah.
so fuck off everyone.
I used to work with a guy called Pip, and me and him have a what's the geezer's name? Josh something. Baby lock them
Josh
doors.
Turner.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That song. And we used to dance on top of a scaffold podium together. My old man walked in one day when we were on building site, and he was like, "What the fuck are you two doing?"
What are you doing?
Basically, yeah. He was like a scene out of Brokeback Mountain, but not R-rated. And but I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't want to tell people what music I liked.
Yeah.
Because I was so fearful that they would judge me based on what I like to listen to. Now I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? Yeah. And now, now it's
you
cool.
now know that your WhatsApp is going to be blown up with, have you heard this song, Sam? Have you heard this song?
My love language like, is literally like sending songs.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like when I'm dating as well, like people are like, name me something like that you wouldn't really... I don't know about you, and I'm like, I love country music. And then I like hammer them with all these country songs. I'm like, I don't like country. I'm like, you fucking will. So I'm being the social influence. I'm like, just listen to the lyrics, will ya?
Listen.
Yeah.
It's great, though.
But that's it. And it's like films. Like, I am a hopeless romantic. I love The Notebook is up there with the favourite films of my
God,
life.
that's a beautiful film.
And when
I can't say what I want to say without ruining it, but there's a scene towards the end.
if you haven't seen The Notebook, get a life. You need to get it. So you can ruin it.
God, it's brutal but beautiful at the same time.
I think
when they're old and they're lying there.
When he just walks in a red dressing gown.
I'm a mess at the end of that film.
Yeah.
But in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, God, that's so beautiful.
But I wouldn't have told people that in the past. Like, my mates would have turned around and be like, oh, what films do you like? I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have said The Notebook, Titanic and The Vow.
Titanic, that's another one.
Yeah.
Whenever I can't help but cry when it's that music at the end, you know, where she's chucking the necklace in the water.
Off the back of that, Celine Dion, one of my top artists of all time.
Yeah.
Would I be telling people
a
that?
Documentary about her?
I'm not yet, so don't fucking ruin that one for me.
Oh my God,
I've seen snippets of it, but I would not have told people that. And it goes down to those little things. What music, like food? Okay, there's obviously a big thing. Like if you're a vegan, how do you know vegans are vegan? Because they'll fucking tell you every time. But it is like people are worried about saying stuff for all these fear of being judged because of what society has told us that is air quote normal and acceptable. That's the big word. It's not acceptable to be a country music loving, hopeless romantic, Celine Dion loving, rom-com loving,
straight man,
cross-dressing. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm joking. I don't cross-dress. Actually, I have worn a few pairs of heels on nights out in the past. But why? Like, if that's the biggest thing to take away from this whole conversation is just be fucking you. And if you don't know where that is yet, who that is yet, go find it. Go listen to country music, and I promise it will change your life.
It will change your life. Do it now. But it's really quite profound. If you start to think about how widely spread and powerful it is that, you know, social media that we said we get onto, you know, how it infiltrates our lives from every angle. There's always, if you let it, someone or something trying to say, do this or don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's so freeing just to go, no. And I'm going to do what I want to do.
And we speak like this whole podcast is about personal growth. You won't realise how powerful just owning like a music decision, a music choice. And it's that we spoke about consistency, brick by brick. No, I don't want to listen to that. I want to listen to this. No, I don't want to eat that. I want to eat this. I want to watch this. And that is your identity coming through and going, actually, yeah, that was powerful that I didn't give a fuck about what fucking that person said, and I made my own choice. But it's such a small decision that you think, but ultimately it has such a profound impact on your life, I think. personally.
I completely agree. Massive impact, and it will only grow from there. When you start building that momentum and thinking, "Oh God, this feels great to own it."
Yeah.
I love Celine Dion. I love country music. And for me,
Cher's also great.
Yeah, just having that moment in your own mind to say, "I don't care what anyone else thinks."
Yeah. And that's not in a negative way.
But it's revolutionary.
Yeah, because how many people do you know to go, "Oh, I don't give a fuck what people think about me"? And it's
People do.
Yeah, okay.
Until you work through it, and then you can fully own not caring what people think. But to an extent,
you can not care about what people think about you in a positive way.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like, I am not going to change my life because of someone thinking they think this. And I think one of the biggest things is that I probably judge what you think about me before you've even told me. So in your head you go, "Oh, I think James will think this.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask him this because I think he's going to think this."
You've already made a
And you're
walk-off
like,
assumption.
where does that come from? You're making an assumption up based on your own beliefs. And then I think then you have to go into it a bit deeper and go, "Well, is that because I would judge somebody on that?" And that was me in the past.
Oh, it will reveal the darkest judgments or negative belief systems about others in you, and then you get to address those and heal them, and then realise that it's okay for everyone to be who they want to be and do what they want to do as long as they're not harming anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of had to mine down for that dark stuff. Then you get to come out the other side and go, "Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Just being who I am, unapologetically."
Yeah. So like, can you obviously I've just used like music as an example about like me becoming, or not becoming, but like not being who I wanted to be because of social pressures and my thoughts that might come with it. But can you give me an example of like things that you might have not fully been open with yourself because you were worried about what people might think or what people might say, even if, like, I mean, obviously you touched.
It's thinking of. I mean, there are many things.
Yeah.
Growing up gay, I think I
was going to say that's probably the
time
biggest one, right?
Questioning what is right for me and versus what social expectations are.
Yeah.
So it's just picking one. I think my whole life has been a cycle of that stuff.
Yeah.
As it is probably for many other people. I'm just trying to think.
Whilst he does that, I will play you my favourite country.
I'd love to hear some country right now.
Yeah.
I think for me, when we're talking about doing what's right for you, but I'm going to change it a little just to get this to fit. I think owning who I am as a person in terms of my my kind of energy, the way that I am in social situations, the way I am around other people. I'm hugely energetic. I'm very much a high energy person, and truly owning that that's who I am without other people sort of dimming my light in that respect. A lot of the time people are, find me a bit much sometimes, or I don't know, like it's maybe parents to start with, but then just thinking I'm really going to own now my own sense of exuberance.
Because you are an exuberant fellow.
I am an exuberant fellow, and I don't know, a lot of times I felt oppressed a little bit, really, and it ties in then to owning my own flamboyance, and I can be quite, woo, and that's okay.
Is there a word for that?
Maybe. There's quite a few words that might be sounding quite derogatory, but yeah, like quite camp, I guess.
Yeah.
And owning that that's okay. And
fucking own it, man.
And I used to loathe it about myself.
Yeah.
Despise it.
But because you thought that's what people were thinking about you.
Yeah. Already I'd have gone into a room and be like, it's not okay. That person thinks, it's wrong. And, that person's looking at me funny. That person has actively said, can you tone it down a bit or whatever? But now it's like, what's right for me is just to be 100% me and not overanalyze or overthink it. And basically think like, I talk quite loudly, for example. So in a restaurant, if I'm like,
we've had to turn my microphone up to try and that's a genuine, real thing. My producer just turned around and said, "Oh, Sam, I've upped your mic this week because James is a little bit louder than you."
Yeah, I've got a loud voice, but my whole childhood, all I heard was, "Shh, be quiet, Shush, James.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, what's right?
Just
for
James Henry Hugo, whatever it was, the third.
Henry Hugo.
What was your
James
name?
Alexander Hugh.
The third.
Penny, the third. But yeah, what's right for me now is just to allow my light to shine, and nobody has to match it. Nobody has to dim it. It's, it is what it is. But a lot of the time it was very, very hard to be myself without finding that I was experiencing some sense of negativity around that. But that's sort of like a relatively deep-rooted thing. I mean, even just liking the music, films. I remember, I can't pinpoint a specific example, but getting into relationships, I used to then really hone in on what they liked, and I'd dump everything I liked.
Oh, okay.
And it wouldn't necessarily be that obvious, but I'd try and take on their interest, take on their music taste.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that to a degree.
Not if you're
wanna
embracing it and saying, I'm curious, but I would pretend I didn't like what I liked.
All right, okay, there it is.
And like what they liked, to the point where you kind of lose yourself.
So we talked about, we touched on parents' expectations, we touched on friends, and now you're talking about a potential partner.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. That expectation that you think that do you think that if you'd have turned around to whoever that person was when you did it and gone, oh, do you know what, like, I really like this, were you scared to say that? Because you're fearful of what?
Yeah, I just think it all stemmed down to me feeling that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So that it would manifest in looking at the external stuff and thinking, oh, they like this music and I don't. So maybe that to be cool, that's what it was. It's just come to me now. I didn't think I was cool. So anyone else, I always thought other people were more interesting than me. So what their interests were always better than mine.
Right.
No matter what it was. I mean, it could have been crochet or, I don't know.
What the fuck's that?
Finger painting.
What's crochet?
Like sewing. Like, in old films.
Oh, it's not the thing with that's croquet, the bomb with the balls.
That's
wooden
croquet.
Balls. Right.
Crochet is a sewing thing, I think. Not I'm an expert.
And a croquette is a potato. I swear they're spelt the fucking same. Probably not.
Yeah, so we've got croquette,
right,
croquet, and crochet.
Fuck, nah, I'm out.
They're three new topics for our next podcast.
Yeah.
But it could have been any activity, and I used to think that's much better than what I like. So I tried to fake liking it.
Fake it
till
you make it.
It was so damaging.
Yeah.
Like, I used to pretend I didn't like tennis, or I pretend I didn't like country music, or I didn't like pop music. I'd have to be more alternative, or I mean, it could be anything. Didn't like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a huge, huge passion of mine throughout.
Really?
But I wouldn't tell.
Was it Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to fancy her back in the day. Never really watched Buffy.
I had posters up of her on my wall pretending I fancied her. But actually in the corner...
And then draw a penis on her. I was like, no, I really do.
No, but there was, in the corner of these huge posters was...
Angel.
Yes.
I knew where you were going.
So I used to put the posters up that had the images of the men on, but they weren't the main poster.
Ah, because you were...
Because if I put the main poster up, whoa, risky. People might think, watch out, this guy's like into him or whatever. Oh. But yeah, so I stopped doing that the moment I realised that it wasn't okay or healthy for me to do that.
Yeah,
and you're much more likely to be embraced, loved, celebrated if you're being your authentic self. And so that phrase "you do you" couldn't be more apt for this conversation.
As long as you're using it in the least patronising way possible when you don't. How many times have you?
Oh yeah, you do you.
You do you, boo. Do you know what? Yeah, you do you, boo, or you do you, hun. Fucking get in
as
the bin.
A sarcastic
get in the bin now
response. Yeah,
yeah.
But mate, no, when it's meant genuinely.
Yeah, and I think especially
my love
now,
of RuPaul's Drag Race, I celebrate that now. I watch that programme more than I'd care to admit.
Yeah.
And I would never have admitted that before. But now I celebrate the fact that I put heels on sometimes at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to walk like that. I
put heels on just to be taller, but 5'6" over here.
Are you 5'6"?
Yeah. Why did you say that in such a
I don't know.
Sympathetic way?
I just feel like when I hear that, it's like, I just want to go, no.
Yeah.
You're so diddy. But it's
in height.
In height. Let's not cast any aspersions or make any assumptions.
Like it's not. I've got relatively small feet, but it's not true what they say.
What, socks?
Yeah. Something that rhymes with socks, but yeah.
Yeah, I never thought about that before.
Not multiple, just one.
But yeah, it's just something about celebrating who you are, and it's not about anyone else. You are always, in the society of the world we live in, you are always going to be subjected to social expectations. That's quite hard for me to say with my lisp. Social expectations or social pressures. It's never going to go away. What you can do, though, is develop a fucking filter for that shit and let it all
He's getting
pass
passionate
through.
now the F words come out.
Let it all pass through that bullshit filter, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you want to be, who you want to be, what you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anyone, to celebrate that. But we're never going to avoid being tested because of social media and how huge it is now. We're never going to avoid being tested in that way. We can't avoid being shaped and molded by our parents, because that's just how it works. But we can finally realise that what's right for us is the only thing that matters. And not a lot of people agree with that, because they're like, oh, you can't be selfish. Yes, you can be.
Yeah. Do you want to know something that I believe? And it's this fucked up world we live in right now, right? Because this is more about probably like the social media type of things, but it's also, I believe, in terms of people's open-mindedness and stuff like that, right? The generation that we are in now, it has never been more acceptable to be who you are. However, it has never been fucking harder. It's never been harder to be that person without being judged on the internet.
Completely agree.
Right? And I heard a quote on a podcast the other day, right? And I actually wrote it down, and I had no idea that we were going to be talking about this today, because as we said, right,
we put it out there to our listeners.
They tell you to be yourself, and then they judge you for it on the internet.
Yeah.
Actually, it didn't come from a podcast. It came from a song, a lyric. And the minute it said it, I was like, right,
write that down.
Rewind, right? And I wrote it down. We live in a society that everyone's an advocate for just be you, and then you'll do it. Yeah. You'll post that video. You'll do whatever you want to do on the internet and that, and then they judge the fuck out of you for it. And it's like, yeah. Cheers for that fucking stimulation of my mental health.
Massive paradox about living in the times we live in, with terms of having so much access to social media. We can connect with millions of people.
Yeah.
And we are, in a position where we're celebrated so much more now to being who we are. Yet equally, there's still so much hate put out there for doing exactly that. It's like, what the fuck? Why? Stop it.
Yep.
Those of you that are listening that may have judged someone, we've all done it, but just let someone live. Why does it always have to be about what's right and wrong? And unless we're talking about obviously harm.
And ultimately, if you're judging somebody, this is my opinion. If you're judging someone on their choices, you make it about you, and it ain't.
Yeah,
it's got nothing to do with you. Like, why are you so worried about somebody else's decision? Like you say, unless you're fearful that it's going to be detrimental to their health or wellness or anything like that, and you go, oh, James, hang on, let's just have a chat about this. That's a good intervention, because it's coming from the right place, right? Yeah. But it's like, especially on social media, do you know how many times, like when I was younger, that it was like, oh my God, have you seen so-and-so's put that picture up of themselves? Or like,
we've always got something to say that's mean.
And now I'm like, oh my God, I was a fucking arsehole. Like, I was young, I was dumb, I was full of naivety. You thought I was going to say something else then?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. But
I did now.
I was like that. And it was like, oh my God, like, growth is so good, because I'm so glad I'm not that person. Like, I still get people now, even at the age of, I'm 34 in 6 weeks, but in 33, and go, oh my God, did you see what they put out? And I'm like, yeah, fucking full credit to them. And they're like, oh, I don't know this version of Sam anymore. Like, I don't know this version. And I'm like, why judge people on what they want to wear? Don't get me wrong, I've got a fucking opinion on people over the age of 30 in football shirts. That's my opinion. So it's a little bit hypocritical.
That sounds like you've got to go away and do the work.
Yeah, it's a little bit hypocritical, but like, I just like you say, let people do them, because it doesn't matter to you. And why are you putting so much energy on worrying about what they're doing? Have a look at yourself.
Absolutely. And we do exist in a world where we are designed to connect to others. But there's no harm for anyone, in my view, just to say, in response to somebody that's doing something, unless, like you say, it's detrimental to their health. Oh, brilliant, good for you.
Yeah, fair play.
Fair play.
Like,
I hope it goes
this podcast.
Well. Yeah.
I told people about it, and I was like, you get that imposter syndrome, don't you?
Yeah.
And I go on socials, and I'm like, right, I'm in the studio today, and it's like, I know for a fact I've had people be like, when I've met them and I haven't seen them for a while, they take the piss out of me and they're going, oh, like, you're going to do a little selfie? And I'm like, yeah. I'll walk down the street filming myself, and they're like, who do you think you are? I'm like, I'm fucking Sam Bell. I'm Sam Bell. I'm doing this shit because I want to do it.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out.
Nothing to do
See you
with
later.
anyone else. Yeah. You do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
And why not use the platform that billions of other people are using in a way that is actually trying to do some good?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, we have to be vigilant. We have to stay aware of how subtle it can be, especially with social media, that people are constantly going to be giving their opinion, putting their point across. My number one tip is it's all feedback, and you don't have to listen.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen. Who's to say that someone else's brain, someone else's viewpoint, someone else's lens over something is better than what you're thinking you want to do for yourself?
Yeah, and I think if you are going to put stuff on social media, especially, you are going to get hateful, negative shit from people.
Don't read it.
Like, so, did I send you the TikTok video of me at Notting Hill Carnival?
I don't know if you did, actually.
Right. So, this ain't a plug, but this girl comes, so Notting Hill Carnival comes past my fire station, right, and we're out there, like, we're in our leggings, and look, mate, it is what it is. Like, it's fun. It's good time.
It sounds really fun.
Girl comes up to me and goes, can I shake your hand for a video? And I was like, yeah, cool, no worries. For the next week and a half, I'm getting sent this video, and the title is, I think it's dabbing up tens. So she's called me a 10 out of 10, which is a great. She basically goes up to loads of geezers and during Nottingham Carnival and does this like handshake thing. Anyway, loads of people are sending it to me like, oh mate, it's funny, like it's gone a little bit viral. It's got like a couple of 100,000 views, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is. It was banter. Then I saw people at a train station the following week, and they were like, they saw me for the first time in person. They were like, have you read the comments? And I was like, nope. They were like, why? I was like, because I'm not interested.
Well, that's a very good plan, though.
I was like, I ain't interested.
Yeah.
I saw the video. I watched it a few times. I sent it to a couple of people, like, joking about. And then I was like, no, I'm not reading it. But then I did.
Oh.
I then went through the comments, and 99% of them were really positive.
Okay.
Like, really funny and all that sort of stuff. There was one.
And
there was one comment that was like, that firefighter, like, I can't even remember now because I'm that confident. I was like, fuck them. But it was a negative comment, and for a split second, I forgot about every positive comment that I'd read prior to that.
Powerful, right?
And then I was like, actually, nah, I'm not interested.
If you're not careful, it could have. People will get fixated on the negative.
Absolutely.
But you did well not to allow that to happen.
But and it goes back to a quote that I listened to on the very first sort of phases of my like self-discovery journey, and it's been adapted by loads of different people. But you could save the world tomorrow from a nuclear disaster. I think I even put a video out when fucking Putin was going mad, and it was quite apt at the time. But if you save the world tomorrow from a nuclear disaster, someone out there is still going to think you're a prick.
Yeah.
But it's true, isn't it? And it's like, why waste all your time thinking about what someone might think about you?
Yeah.
Because there is always going to be a negative Nelly out there going, oh, yeah.
RuPaul says it best. What other people think of you is none of your business.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. It's like, so just don't listen. And again, everything we say, someone could come along negatively and say, it's not that easy.
No, it isn't. But it then goes back to the consistency.
Easy, but it doesn't mean it's not doable.
No.
You know, I don't do what's right for anyone, other than me now.
Yeah.
But it's part of the building that sense of self, your self-worth, your self-belief, your trusting yourself. And that, you know, unless again it comes down to harm, anything you do is all part of a bigger plan, right?
Yeah.
And you'll learn something. So
one of the things that I say to my clients is that who's the most important person in your life? And a lot of them go, my kids and stuff like that. I'm like, nope, you're wrong. And they're like, how can you say that? I'm like, the most important person in your life is you.
Exactly.
Because when you start being yourself, when you start making the right decisions for you, it is inevitable that the husbands, the wives, the brothers, the sisters, the mums, the dads, the kids will benefit from it. Absolutely. Because if you are your authentic self and you start to put the work in on becoming who you really want to be, they are only going to benefit from it.
Of course they will.
Leverage granted.
Yeah.
Your family is leveraged to start making that. Well, if I can't do it for myself today, who can I do it for? Yeah. Cool, but you will if you start being so true to yourself, they are going to be the ones that benefit, and then that benefits you, and then that goes back to. I've asked you this before. Is there such thing as a selfish task, a selfless task? And the answer is no, because you've been quite selfish, being who you want to be. It has had a knock-on effect. You've seen how that impacts people in a positive way. So then you felt good about yourself. So it's not selfish. It's not selfless. It's selfish because you. Do you know what I mean?
Selfish
because it's made you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, Dr. Pepper advert said it best.
What was that?
Dr. Pepper, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, I've sung, so I just wanted him to sing.
But yeah, so I think for me, work at it, do what's right for you, and gently, if anyone's got anything negative to say, it's like, off you fuck.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say to you, like, we do it every episode, like the top tips sort of thing. But you kind of just did it already without.
I kind of feel like I want to leave it with, like, it's very much something you have to discover.
Yes.
And I think we've highlighted today how important it is to go in pursuit of doing what's right for you for that very reason, that reason only, because it's right for you. And it's got nothing to do with anyone else.
Yeah.
I feel like microphone drop, done.
I'm happy with that. No, mate.
Have you got anything you'd like to add?
No, like, I just think it goes back with what we've covered. Like, don't think that making any decisions as minuscule and as small as you believe it to be about who you want to be, don't think that doesn't have such a big impact. And like we said, we touched on music, food, film choices, something that might feel so irrelevant to some people. But if you start just making those little choices that you are comfortable with who you are, it will have such an impact on your life that everybody that is in your life will benefit from.
Absolutely. It's the ripple effect in a positive way.
So, mate, this was a relatively short one, but it was...
I don't think it is.
No?
I mean, short but sweet, if that's the case.
Did you just describe me?
Well, yeah, I kind of did, didn't I? But look, it's been a pleasure.
Always.
How can people get in touch with us?
Instagram, at Flex Your Feelings. Your personal Instagram is...
At James Penny Therapy.
Yep. And mine is Move Different with SB. And
I love that. Move Different. I always imagine you dancing for some reason.
Yeah, there's...
Like the cha-cha.
I haven't done the
really
TikTok
flamboyant. I don't know why.
There's some... mate, yeah, there's been some dance moves out recently when I've had a few
you're
drinks.
A nifty little mover, are you?
I think I can move.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to those.
Society may say different, but you know what? Based on this episode,
what's right
fuck
for you,
society.
What's right for you is you go and film those dancing videos.
That's it. Right, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Always.
Take it easy.
You too.